Stangebelisco here, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV Whiskey 1, Good Vibrations. Well, I'm through with field day. It is the 23rd of June 2019. I got on 20 meters only, the design band for my deck-mounted vertical antenna, and tested it mainly just to be sure that it still tuned up properly and took power, and it did. Got on the CW portion of the band with my 10 watts output and did the hunt and peck type of operation. You don't try to hold a frequency with 10 watts. Besides that, the noise level was almost S9. This was human-made noise, and only the stronger stations could be heard anyway. So my technique was to do snappy, quick replies to the strongest stations at 18 words a minute. Just sent my call sign, my category, which was 1D, 1 Delta, and my section, South Dakota, SD. And I was answered, or my call was returned, on almost every try. There were a few times I had to call twice, and I think one time that I never got any response at all. I just couldn't crack the pileup. But I think that's pretty remarkable for 10 watts to be able to get through the pileup of stations that's bound to answer strong stations on field day. No lightning issues here. Just made maybe a couple of dozen contacts for the sake of old time and to be sure that I could still send decent CW, and I could. It worked out all right. The transmitter and antenna performed flawlessly, even though I haven't been on the air much. So I'd call this field day a little success and bringing back a lot of memories, particularly of high school days, field days, in the late 1960s and early 1970s, when I used to have a companion operator, and we always liked to operate CW on field day. We operated quite a lot, actually. Some years there were June bugs, some years there were thunderstorms, in which case we foolishly stayed on the air too long and were lucky to escape with our equipment and our lives. We operated from the back of an 18-wheeler semi-trailer, which makes an excellent electrostatic shield and excellent lightning protection enclosure in case there was lightning. So the best thing to do if there was lightning was to just shut off the radio and stay in the trailer. The thing is, once the lightning starts, it's too late to disconnect or do anything with the antenna. Don't touch it. Just shut the radio down and hope for the best. Just protect your body, if not your equipment, and get away from those radios. But we never had any mishaps of that sort, and rarely had thunderstorm nights. Operating at night was my favorite deal, was operating all night long. After all those barbecues, the companionship at the Rochester Amateur Radio Club. Our call sign back then was W0 Mike X-Ray Whiskey. The first couple years I did phone SSB operation, and then found that I liked CW better. Generally, a member contributed his Yaesu Fox Tango 101, and I contributed my Hallicrafters TO Keyer and Vibroplex Vibro Keyer, a single lever paddle. And we like to operate around 25-30 words a minute then, not realizing that you'd had to repeat things a lot more often. W1GV, 1 Delta, South Dakota. 18 words a minute, rarely had to repeat anything, even at 10 watts output. And never, of course, in these short contacts, bothered to say 73, or so long, which would, of course, have translated to da-da-da-da-da-da.